Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yaji, like Yaji, and today's video is actually very long overdue, but I figured, there's people out there that want to lose weight, so maybe I can help you a little and just tell you my experience of what I did, what exercises I did to accomplish losing weight in 2 months. So if you're interested, please keep watching. So before you start your weight loss journey, I think I need to start off by saying this. You know how the saying goes, like 70% is like food and 30% is you working out. So that kind of shows you how important what you eat. So you just have to make sure, obviously, you don't eat any junk food, no alcohol. Make sure you eat all 3 sources of food, so protein, carbs, and vegetables, and make sure that you don't overeat. So I personally went on like a strict, meal plan where they just deliver it for you, just because it's easier and I don't have to calculate and cook all the time, because when you're super hungry, you just kind of want to grab anything and just eat the first thing that, is easiest to access. By me ordering food online, that kind of just eliminated me wanting to eat like something really fast. I was just lazy to cook. But you don't have to do that. Obviously you can make your meal plans. Once a week, make your meal plans and then, put them in the fridge, and then that will last you a week. I know a lot of people do that, but I just personally took the route of ordering online. Another thing is you need to make sure how long you want to go on like a weight loss program. So I only had 2 months, this was last year, and I only had 2 months available for me, and so I wanted to see how much weight I can lose, and obviously I wanted to get a 6-pack and see if I can actually accomplish getting a 6-pack in 2 months. And I know that's not doable for a lot of people, it's quite intense, but most people, they go on like 3 months or 4 months, or if you have time, maybe 6 months. Some people take maybe up to a year to lose weight. It all just depends on your circumstance and like your mindset and why you're trying to lose weight. So for me, I wanted to just see if I can actually accomplish something. For other people, maybe it's health reasons. We're all in different circumstances, so whatever works for you, you just need to pick the time frame. And before every workout, I made sure to stretch every single day. So I used to work out 6 days a week. I know that's a lot, just because I didn't have that much time, like I said before. When now I don't have a strict schedule, I only work out 5 times. So, it just depends on the person. But I worked out 6 times a week, and I made sure that I stretched in the beginning, and at the end, I did cardio for roughly around 40 minutes. So I hate cardio, I hate cardio with passion, I hate running. If I can just avoid it, I would. But I know cardio is an important aspect of losing weight, obviously. So I did cardio. So one thing I did, switch it up a little. Some days I was, feeling okay, so I would run for 40 minutes. But other days I was just not feeling it, right, for whatever reason. And what you can do instead of running is that put the treadmill on an incline and, walk. So I used to fast walk for 40 minutes, and fast walking sounds easy, but it really isn't. So you have to walk at a speed where you're out of breath if you're talking. So obviously, you can't sing when you're walking. If you can sing when you're walking, you're doing it wrong. When you're walking, you have to be out of breath, almost to the point where you don't want to talk anymore. So that's kind of the speed you need to go on an incline, because obviously incline helps you burn more fat. And another thing I incorporate into my workout routine is that I did all the sets 5 times. So most people only do one specific exercise, maybe 3 sets. I did 5 sets for each exercise. Yeah, I know. And I did 20 repetitions of that 5 sets. So meaning if I'm doing lateral raises, I would do 20 of those in 5 times. My workout was, pretty intense. I had to push hard, but most people would only do 3 to 4 sets, depending. But one thing you need to know is that for weight loss, the optimal number of repetitions you should do is to aim between 15 to 20, because 15 to 20 reps, it helps you lose weight. If you're trying to grow muscle, not lose weight, but just, increase muscle, the best is 10 reps, but obviously you lift more heavy. And so by the time you get to 8 or 9, you're dying, you can't do it anymore type of heavy. That's geared more towards bodybuilding. I was more interested in losing fat, and so I would do 15 to 20 reps. So I would say if your goal is to lose weight, then aim for 15 to 20 reps. The last thing I want to touch upon is that when you are building your exercise routine, make sure you have both compound exercises and isolation exercises. So compound exercises are when you're working out more than one muscle group. So for instance, a squat is a compound exercise, so are lunges, so are push-ups, pull-ups. An isolation workout is where you basically isolate and only work out one muscle group. So for instance, hip thrusts, you're only working out your hips. So it could be sit-ups where you're only working the core, lateral exercises where you're working out the biceps. So you get the idea. So you just have to make sure you have both a little bit of compound exercise and isolation exercises in your routine. So I mentioned I work out 6 times a week. So like for instance, Mondays I'll do like a lower body, Tuesday I'll do an upper body, and then continue on that pattern. So I'll do like 3 lower bodies in a week and then 3 upper bodies in a week. I just like to separate those two so that I can target different muscle groups, and that just worked out for me. Normally on a lower body day, I'll stretch and then I'll do a warm-up. So for me, a warm-up would consist of really light weights or like using a band to just kind of like get that muscle group going, so that when you actually work out, that muscle group is already kind of like awakened in a way. By the way, I'm looking down because I have it written down on my planner. So my warm-up for a lower body day would be a reverse hyperextension with a band. So that's where you lay down, normally on like a bench, and then you have your legs straightened out with a band on your side, and then you just lift it up. And one of the reasons why I chose this exercise to warm up with is because I struggle with my butt kind of like sagging, and I don't like that look. I know that's like TMI, but you know how like we all have different body types, so we all struggle differently. So for me, I needed more muscle on the top side of my glutes to kind of give you that illusion of like a plumped up butt. We're all different. For me, it was like the upper part of the glute, and reverse hyperextension allowed me to like target that upper part of the butt to get like, hey, hello, wake up, so you can get that like plump shape. And then once I was finished with that, I would move on to the Smith machine. And what I would do was like a kneeling squat. So you get on your knees and then you're basically squatting on your knees with like weights. And that's because I wanted to open up my inner thigh muscles. And I'll get to this later, but when you open up your inner thigh muscles wider, by the time you get to the end of the routine and you want to incorporate a different exercise, that for instance, like I incorporate like the deadlift, I can actually like push out my hips more, because in the beginning of the workout, I made sure to like stretch out those inner muscles on my thighs. So that just worked out better for me because I'm not the most flexible person out there, so that it helps me throughout the workout. The next exercise I might do is like squats with the Smith machine. I don't like doing squats alone. I prefer using a Smith machine just because it's a little bit easier, and also the Smith machine helps me be stable and just go up and down, and helps me focus on my glutes instead of like thinking about, oh, is my form right or not. There's just too many variables to think about, and whatever helps me easier to actually target that muscle, I'll do. Because you know how everyone talks about like the mind muscle connection is like every time you do a workout, you gotta make sure you think about that muscle group that you're working out, and that targets the muscle group even more. So the next exercise I might do is like a hip thrust. So you can use a Smith machine, but I personally just prefer like a barbell on a bench, and because Smith machines are meant to make exercises a little bit easier for you, right? But for me, hip thrusts are not that complicated, and I wanted that maximum impact, so I would just, you know, be on the bench and then put on like weights and then just lift from there. But you gotta make sure that your hips go all the way down and then all the way back up, and like don't come up too fast, because if you have that bouncy motion where you come up too fast, you're not really working out that muscle group. You're just kind of going with the gravity to help you up and down. So you gotta just make sure you go slow and steady. So one thing I struggle with, I mean, on top of, you know, my butt having that saggy look, which I'm like, so many issues, right? is that I don't want hip dips. Maybe some people don't mind it, but I don't feel like hip dips is attractive on my body type. So in order to avoid hip dips, I incorporated cable leg extensions, but to like the side a little bit on a 45 degrees. So it's not fully side or completely back. It's kind of in between that, because it targets my side muscles, and then that kind of prevents you from getting like a hip dip in that area. By doing the cable exercise, it builds muscle in that hip dip area to give more like an apple-shaped, nice rounded butt. And then another isolation exercise I may incorporate is leg curls. Now this depends on your gym, whether the gym has like a leg curl machine that you sit down, or is it one of those that you lay down and then you curl, you know, up. I prefer the lay down one just because like I feel like the whole area of the back of my thigh is working out, versus leg curl when I'm sitting down. I just don't feel like the back of my thigh is working out as much. And then normally I would end it with a stiff. I don't know why I do, I just do. I like the feeling of it. So remember how I said in the beginning, I did the kneeling squat and then I opened up like my inner thighs. Well, because I opened up my inner thighs and kind of stretched out my thighs a little bit, when I do the stiff deadlift with like dumbbells, I'm able to like push my glutes even further. So the more hinging motion your pelvic area can do, the more like your glute area, so your butt basically opens up. So I don't know if you noticed, but if you like bend down, your butt kind of extends, and then when you come back up, your butt kind of just goes back to its small position. So you want to make sure your butt kind of like extends to the fullest so that you're able to like target the whole butt area instead of just like parts of it. That's why stretching in the beginning is very important, and also incorporating workouts that kind of help you stretch along the way is important, so that by the time you do actually like a stiff deadlift, it really opens up your hips. So obviously I wouldn't do all these routines at once on a day because like I said, I do like 5 sets and 20 reps. So I would pick normally like 4 to 5 exercises depending on the day, just mix it up. And then afterwards when I finish, I always end with a ab workout before I jump into the cardio machine. So you're not supposed to do a lot of ab workouts, and you're not gonna get a 6-pack just because you do a bunch of crunches or like ab workouts. Your abs always depend on your body fat percentage and basically like how much fat is covering your belly area. That's why most people who are slim tend to show their muscles thicker than people that have a little more weight to them, just because you need to shed that layer so that your muscles are able to peek through. So I only did one ab exercise, and that was leg curls. And the reason why I chose to do leg curls was because it was the most impactful exercise for me. So like sit-ups were pretty easy. I wanted an exercise that was, you know, pretty difficult and like I could feel my abs. And for me, that was leg raises. And I would actually do leg raises on a bench, not on the floor. There's a limit to how low you can go because, you know, you're hitting the floor. But if you do it on a bench and you make sure your tailbone's kind of sticking out at the end, so you're almost like your butt's hanging out a little bit, it makes it more difficult because then you have the full range to go down and then go up 90 degrees. You also got to make sure your legs are straight and just take it real slow. Don't go fast, and you know, let the gravity help you. Like that defeats the purpose. So you got to really feel the muscles burning, and I like that. I enjoy that. I don't know why. And then I'll do cardio. That's kind of the routine I'd go for a lower body day. So for an upper body day, it would be the same thing as the lower body. You know, I start out with stretches, and then I'd warm up. I'd take really light weights and then just do like 2 sets of like 15 or something shoulder presses or whatever exercise you're gonna do next. You're just basically wanting to wake up the muscle group that you wanna target. But with the shoulder presses, I'd always make it a compound set. So after I do 1 set of shoulder press, I'd move on to like dumbbell lateral raises like right after without resting. After I do both of those, then I'll take a rest. And the reason why I did shoulder press and lateral raises is because having that like straight shoulders, I just find it really attractive. You know, I have a little bit of fat right now. Granted, I gained weight and I'm also pregnant, so you know, I'm putting on weight, but I just really like the slim arm look with like, you know, like almost straight shoulders with a little bit of like décolletage, like that area showing. That's why I would do the shoulder press and then the lateral raises together. Another exercise afterwards I'll do is a dumbbell incline chest press. So you might be wondering like, why is it inclined? Well, I heard from my trainer that women don't have muscle like below our boobs, like, you know, because our boobs are technically fat. We have muscle on top of our chest, but not below. So there's no reason to work out the lower chest area. It's just the upper chest area. We don't want our boobs basically sagging, and so in order to prevent that, you want to work out your chest as well. And it's not like we're gonna get buff because, you know, working out chest. No, that's not the case. It's just to maintain it so that it doesn't sag with gravity. You can use a barbell. I just prefer a dumbbell just because it gives me a lot more freedom and movement. But obviously you could use a Smith machine as well, or you could also do like cable workouts where, you know, you do cable flies or something like that. Just something that targets the chest area is just very beneficial for us. One of my favorite back exercises is the lat pull down. So I'll not only do the front, but I'll do the back as well, because when you do the front pull down, you target the wide muscles of your back, but when you do the back pull down, it targets like the inner muscles of your shoulders. I also finished with a seated row. So normally I'll do that on a cable machine where basically you're rowing with a cable, the inner portion muscles of your back. When all those exercises are done, I would then finish off with another ab exercise. So of course I'll do the leg raises as well, and then finish off with cardio. So this is like hardcore working out. So normally I'd be in the gym like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, just depends. I know that's crazy, but I think if you don't do like 5 sets like I did, then maybe if you do like 3 sets, then you could probably finish like in an hour and a half. But I chose to do like the full 5 set just because I was on a mission. I only had 2 months to do this. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably take like around 4 months just so that I can actually have like a cheat day once a week on a Sunday or something like that. I didn't take a cheat day just because 2 months. Right? But most people I know would take a cheat day once a week. I personally had a trainer throughout this process just because I wanted someone accountable and I felt like I couldn't do it alone, and I wanted someone to watch over my form to see if I'm doing everything correctly. Obviously, you don't need a trainer, and to commemorate my hard work and effort, I decided to do a photo shoot. So this is obviously a separate program that, you know, if you choose to, you know, take photos, you know, show off your body or whatnot, it's up to you. I decided to do that, but obviously you don't have to do it. Transformation, basically, like before and after. And one thing that I learned from this experience is that losing weight is very simple. We all know how to lose weight, just don't eat bad food and work out consistently. But the biggest issue why people don't lose weight is because it's difficult in a sense, like you can't eat food that you want to eat, and that really takes a toll on yourself mentally, and overall you're just unhappy in life because you can't eat the food you want to eat, right? So I think it's just important to have a balance. But anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative, maybe a little bit fun and helpful about my personal weight loss journey and what I did. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring my bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
You better turn up. You better be there when I shake.